The coast Marauders, a band of swashbuckling pirates, had set their sights on the Sludge Ogre territory, home to the ogres who lived in villages called Sludgy Mounds. The coast Marauders were armed with a diverse array of attacking weaponry, and they were determined to conquer the Sludge Ogres and claim their land for their own. As the coast Marauders approached the Sludgy Mounds, they quickly realized the difficulty of their task. The terrain was treacherous and muddy, and the Sludge Ogres had set up traps and barriers to slow down their advance. The coast Marauders had to tread carefully, lest they become stuck in the mud or fall victim to one of the ogres' traps. The Sludge Ogres, on the other hand, were well accustomed to their swampy home. They knew the terrain like the backs of their hands, and they used this to their advantage. They employed hit-and-run tactics, ambushing the coast Marauders and then disappearing into the murky waters of the swamp. They also used the terrain to their advantage, creating hidden paths and tunnels through the mud that only they knew about. The coast Marauders were forced to adapt quickly to the Sludge Ogres' tactics. They formed a defensive line, using their shields and spears to ward off the ogres' attacks. They also captured the southern watchtower to keep an eye on the surrounding swamp and prevent surprise attacks. However, these defensive measures were not foolproof, and the coast Marauders suffered several losses as the battle raged on. As the battle wore on, the coast Marauders realized that they needed to change their tactics if they were to have any chance of winning. They began to focus on cutting off the Sludge Ogres' supply lines and isolating their villages. They launched several raids on the ogres' food stores and weapons caches, hoping to starve them out. The Sludge Ogres, meanwhile, continued to use their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. They created makeshift bridges over the muddiest parts of the swamp, allowing them to move quickly and easily through the mud. They also employed siege tactics, digging trenches and creating barriers to slow down the coast Marauders' advance. Despite the challenges they faced, the coast Marauders refused to give up. They continued to press forward, launching wave after wave of attacks on the Sludgy Mounds. They used battering rams to try to break through the ogres' defenses, and they sent in scouts to try to uncover hidden paths through the swamp. As the battle neared its end, it became clear that both sides were evenly matched. The coast Marauders had managed to take several Sludgy Mounds, but the Sludge Ogres had also inflicted heavy losses on them. In the end, the two sides reached a stalemate, neither side able to claim total victory. The battle had been a grueling and exhausting one, with both sides employing a variety of tactics and strategies to gain the upper hand. The coast Marauders had proven themselves to be tough and determined warriors, but they had also learned the hard way that conquering the Sludge Ogres was no easy task. The Sludge Ogres, meanwhile, had shown that their knowledge of the terrain and their ability to adapt to changing circumstances made them a formidable opponent, even against more heavily armed foes.